Venezuela are sharply escalating. US President Donald Trump has ordered a blockade on all sanctioned oil tankers attempting to enter Venezuela, and that has led to a rise in oil prices, which rallied by nearly 2%, raising global political temperature at a time of concerns over demand. Brent crude futures were at $59.91 a barrel, while US crude rose to $56.24 a barrel. It is still not clear how many tankers will be affected or how the US will impose the blockade against sanctioned vessels, and whether Trump will turn to the Coast Guard to interdict vessels as he did last week. Caracas has denounced this move, calling it warmongering threats. Watch this report by DD India's Aarti Rana.
The United States has for months been building a major military deployment in the Caribbean, with the stated goal of combating Latin American drug trafficking, but taking particular aim at Venezuela. The announcement of a blockade of sanctioned oil vessels heading to and leaving Venezuela by US President Donald Trump is part of his pressure campaign against Caracas, while issuing new demands for access to the country's crude. Tensions have been mounting for weeks as Trump signals intent to launch military action inside Venezuela, ominously declaring that the country's airspace should be considered closed and the efforts at halting drug trafficking on land would soon begin.
I have to say the drugs coming in by sea are down 94%, and we're trying to figure out who the other 6% are. But they're down 94%, and we're going to start hitting them on land, which is a lot easier to do, frankly. But these are a direct military threat to the United States of America. They're trying to drug out our country.
Last week, the United States opened a new front in the campaign, seizing an oil tanker that had left Venezuela and announcing sanctions on several other vessels and companies associated with the Venezuelan oil industry. Referring to the many Navy and Marine forces assembled in the Caribbean, including the world's largest aircraft carrier, Trump has warned Venezuela is completely surrounded by the largest armada ever assembled in the history of South America. Caracas views the operation as a campaign to push out Nicolas Maduro, whom Washington and many nations view as an illegitimate president, and to steal Venezuelan oil. With Venezuela's economy heavily reliant on crude exports, the move to cripple its oil sector is likely to further ramp up pressure on Maduro. Venezuelan president rejected US allegations of drug trafficking and accusing the United States of trying to seize Venezuela's natural resources. And for all peaceful purposes, Maduro unveiled a rock rendition of the song No War, Yes Peace. He emphasized that the song embodies Venezuela's enduring plea for peace.
La clase obrera petrolera.
We must speak with the ship owners in ports around the world to prepare a protest by oil and gas workers and by merchant marine workers against what we see as piracy by the US government, which is trying to impose privateering again. A big global protest, permanent not just for one day, and to prepare the defense of free trade for Venezuela and the whole world, because defending free trade and peace in the Caribbean and Venezuela is defending free trade and peace for the whole world.
Venezuela has been sidestepping US oil sanctions for years, selling crude at a discounted price on the black market. It is estimated to have oil reserves of some 303 billion barrels, according to the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, more than any other nation. As Washington tightens the noose on Venezuela's oil lifeline, the standoff risks tipping from economic warfare into open confrontation, raising fears of wider instability in a region already on edge. Bureau Report, DD India.